I'm 61 years old, and when I look back now, I can see that by the time I was 32, I had already given everything I had to other people and quietly forgotten myself. And I had to learn, very late in life, how to sit with myself. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing then. I just thought I was being good, useful, needed. Okay. Now, sitting here with more years behind me than ahead, I can finally see the shape of it. I'm not telling this because I expect forgiveness or understanding. I'm telling it because at this age, you stop lying to yourself. There's no energy left for it. What remains is the truth, whether you're ready for it or not. My days are slow now. Not calm, just slow. I wake up early without trying. I move carefully through the house, careful not to rush my body into reminding me what it can't do anymore. I sit at the table with my coffee and notice how quiet everything is. Quiet gives you space to think. Sometimes too much space. When I was younger, I believed giving was the same as living. I believed if I kept showing up for others, everything else would take care of itself. I didn't think about what I needed. That felt selfish. Wrong, even. Amanda, I grew up in a family where you didn't put yourself first. You helped. You sacrificed. You stayed quiet about your own wants. That was how you showed love. Amanda, so I learned early to make myself small inside. In my 20s, I was already dependable. The one people called when they needed help. The one who stayed late. The one who didn't complain. I liked being that person. Being needed felt like proof that I mattered. Well, I didn't ask myself what I wanted because everyone else seemed to have an answer ready for me. Bounds in my 30s, life filled up quickly, work, family, obligations that stacked on top of each other until there was barely room to breathe. I told myself this was normal, that this was adulthood. I gave time freely, energy freely. I said yes even when I was tired, especially when I was tired. Saying no felt like failure, and people praised me for it. They said I was strong, reliable, selfless. I didn't notice how rarely anyone asked how I was doing, and I didn't notice because I wasn't asking myself either. By my 40s, I had built a life around being useful. I was good at anticipating needs, fixing problems, filling gaps before anyone else noticed they were there. Man, what I wasn't good at was sitting still long enough to notice myself. There were moments when something inside me pushed back. A quiet resentment, a fatigue that sleep didn't fix, a sense that I was present everywhere except in my own life. I brushed those feelings aside, told myself I was lucky, that other people had it worse, that wanting more was ungrateful. I didn't realize that neglecting yourself doesn't make you noble. It just makes you disappear slowly. And the slow cost of all this didn't come with alarms. It came in small ways. I stopped having opinions that weren't shaped by someone else's needs. I stopped making plans that were just for me. I stopped recognizing my own reflection as someone with a voice. Relationships shifted. Not dramatically, just subtly. People came to me when they needed something, but not when they wanted to know me. Mindy trained them that way. By the time I was leckers, I was exhausted in a way I couldn't explain, not burnt out from work, not overwhelmed by crisis, just hollow. That was the year something finally cracked. It wasn't a breakdown, it was quieter than that. Someone close to me passed away unexpectedly. Not old, not sick, just gone. Bond at the funeral. Listening to people talk about the life they lived, I realized how little of my own life I could describe outside of service to others. I knew what I had done for people. I knew what I had sacrificed, but I didn't know who I was beneath all of that. That realization stayed with me. I went home afterward and sat alone in the house. No one needed anything from me that night. No calls, no requests, just silence. And in that silence, I felt something I hadn't allowed myself to feel before. Grief, yes, but also anger, not at anyone else, At myself, I realized I had been giving from a place of fear. Fear of being unimportant, fear of being left behind, fear that if I stopped being useful, I would stop being lived. That fear had shaped my entire life. What can't be fixed now is not the giving itself. I don't regret helping people. What can't be fixed is how completely I erased myself in the process. I can't go back and ask myself who I was before I learned to disappear. I can't reclaim the years I spent silencing my own needs because they felt inconvenient. Bound time doesn't give those things back. Been in my 60s and 70s, as people stopped needing me as much, the loneliness became sharper. Not because I was alone, but because I didn't know how to be anything else. When you build your identity on giving, retirement feels like vanishing. I struggled with that a lot, how to listen without immediately dismissing my own thoughts, how to want something without apologizing for it. It was uncomfortable, awkward, humbling. Some days I felt grateful for the life I had lived. Other days I mourned the life I never gave myself permission to live. Both feelings were true. Ban, if you're listening to this, I'm not here to tell you to stop caring for others. Care matters. Love matters. Giving matters. I just wish someone had told me that giving everything doesn't mean giving wisely. And you're allowed to exist inside your own life. You're allowed to have needs that don't serve anyone else. You're allowed to rest without earning it. I didn't learn that until there wasn't much time left to practice it. So, Andrea, now at 61, I live more quietly. I say no more often. I listen to myself when something feels wrong instead of pushing through it out of habit, when it doesn't undo the past, but it makes the present feel more honest. Manza, if this meant something to you, you don't have to change everything. Just notice where you're disappearing out of duty instead of choice. Manda, I gave everything to others for most of my life. I don't regret the love. I regret how long it took me to realize I was allowed to be part of it too.